Hello, my name is Stephen Anderson. I am the Outback Hypnotist. Today I would like to welcome you to this class, the ABCs of self-hypnosis. This is where I will walk you through the process I use to prepare for and then to enter self-hypnosis. Then I will guide you through that self-hypnosis to make some phenomenal change. Today's destination is the creation of a desire to follow your diet. Now, this is not a guided meditation. It is an active process that you can use to start your mind in the direction towards self-improvement. Nevertheless, you may begin to feel incredibly relaxed, and as such, this is not to be listened to while you are driving a car or operating heavy machinery or doing anything that takes concentration to complete. The 3 I's of self-hypnosis are intention, induction and initiation, and they will all be covered separately here, with a small break between each of the steps so you can begin at the place that makes you comfortable. If you are comfortable formulating your own intention, begin this recording at the 4-minute mark. If you are comfortable with performing your own induction, begin this recording at the 14-minute mark. And if you would like to work through the whole lot with me, we can begin that right now. First, your intention. It is a 3-step process where you explain to your subconscious mind what exactly it is you are expecting to happen as a result of this self-hypnosis. Step number 1 is the intention, where you vocalize the reason for the self-hypnosis. Step number 2 is duration, and that is how long you intend to remain in the hypnotic state. And step number 3, completion, how you intend to feel when you return. Today's first example is for a morning practice in preparation for the day. I intend to use self-hypnosis today to increase my desire, my ability, my resolve when I am following the diet I have chosen to improve my health, well-being, and as a consequence, reduce my weight. I will remain in state for a total of 15 minutes, and I will return feeling incredibly positive, powerful, and ready for a sensational day of activity and excitement. Today's second example is for an evening practice just before I go to bed at night. I intend to use self-hypnosis today to increase my desire, my ability, my resolve when I am following the diet I have chosen to improve my health, well-being, and as a consequence, reducing my weight. I will remain in state for a total of 15 minutes and will return feeling comfortable and completely relaxed, ready for a night of deep and perfect sleep, and should I dream, they will be dreams to confirm the learnings I have and gain today. Now I will leave you for 30 seconds to formulate and prepare your intention. If you need to stop the recording and take your time, that's just perfect. Knowing your destination is vital. Now today's induction is a progressive relaxation induction with a twist. The aim, as usual, is for you to practice this method until you are comfortable completing the process without the needing to hear my voice. Begin this process seated upright with your hands separated on your lap. You don't want to begin too relaxed, and as we begin I would ask that you remain still. Just the movement of your breath allowed after this first step, and only in this first step physically follow my directions. For each and every following step, use your imagination only to follow along. Even as my words change from imagine to feel or allow, let only your imagination respond. Move your focus to your eyelids, and this time Only with your next inward breath, tighten the muscles in your eye and hold that tension. Notice that tension. Feel that tension and place that experience in the forefront of your mind to refer back to and to use. And with your next outward breath, allow those tiny little muscles to relax. Totally relax. Imagine a rag doll, unmoving, unable to move, so relaxed. Move your focus to your forehead now. With your next inward breath, imagine the muscles in your forehead tightening. Feel the wrinkles above your eyebrows and hold that tension tight in your mind. And as you next exhale, imagine that muscle relax. As relaxed as it can possibly be. And imagine that relaxation leaking out into the muscles surrounding it. Move your focus to your cheek. Now with your next inward breath, imagine the muscle in your cheek tightening and hold that tension tight in your mind. And as you next exhale, imagine that muscle relax. As relaxed as it can possibly be, and imagine that relaxation leaking out into the muscles surrounding it. Move your focus to your jaw and to your chin. Now, with your next inward breath, imagine the muscle in your jaw tightening and hold that tension tight in your mind. And as you next exhale, imagine that muscle relax. As relaxed as it can possibly be, and imagine that relaxation leaking out to the muscles surrounding it. Now, move your focus to your glutes, to your backside. Notice the pressure pushing up from the seat below. Now with your next inward breath, imagine those muscles tightening and hold that tension tight in your mind. And as you next exhale, imagine that muscle relax. As relaxed as it can possibly be. And imagine that relaxation leaking out to the muscles surrounding it. Move your focus to your calf muscle on the back of your lower right leg. Now with your next inward breath, imagine your calf muscle tightening and hold that tension tight in your mind. And as you next exhale, imagine that muscle relaxed. As relaxed as it can possibly be, and imagine that relaxation leaking out to the muscles surrounding it. Move your focus to your index finger. Now with your next inward breath, imagine the muscle in your index finger tightening and hold that tension tight in your mind. And as you next exhale, imagine that muscle relax, as relaxed as it can possibly be, and imagine that relaxation leaking out into the muscles surrounding it. Move your focus to your wrist, to the wrist of your non-dominant hand. Now with your next inward breath, imagine the muscle in the wrist tightening and hold that tension tight in your mind. As you next exhale, imagine that muscle relax, as relaxed as it can possibly be, and imagine that relaxation leaking out to the muscles surrounding it. Move Move your focus to your lower back. Notice it pressing against the surface and imagine a tingling replacing that pressure. Now with your next inward breath, imagine that muscle tightening and hold that tension tight in your mind. And as you next exhale, imagine that muscle relax, as relaxed as it can possibly be, and allow that relaxation to leak out to the muscles surrounding it. Move your focus to your diaphragm, that giant muscle under your lungs that expands to compress the lungs and force out the bitter, stale and used air, and then contracts to draw in another life-giving breath. A part of you that you have virtually no control over, yet consistently, repeatably, confidently fills you with life. Now with your next inward breath, imagine that muscle under your lungs tightening, and hold that tension tight in your mind. And as you next exhale, imagine relaxation as the waste is purged from your body. Imagine that relaxation leaking out and filling your stomach with light, making its functions effortless as your subconscious mind. As your subconscious mind turns to the task ahead, move your focus to your heart, the muscle of life. Notice it beating inside your chest. Feel the echoes of its labour in your throat, in your ears, your wrist, your feet, and return to your heart. Now with your next inward breath, imagine the heart muscle tightening, and hold that tension tight in your mind as you feel the flow continue strongly. And as you next exhale, imagine that muscle relax back to normal, and imagine that relaxation being pushed through your veins and leaking out into the muscles, into every muscle, every cell, every molecule of life. Move your focus back to your eyes. Now with your next inward breath, imagine the muscles in your eyes tightening, and hold that tension tight in your mind. And as you next exhale, imagine that muscle relaxed as a rag doll. And in the moment, you know that those tiny muscles in your eyes are so relaxed they simply won't work. And only when you are certain that they are so relaxed that they simply won't work, then you can test them and feel the incredible sensation of being in control and confident in that control. And now I will stay silent for 1 minute while you integrate your intention and your induction, and then we will continue. And the scene changes, and you find yourself aboard a train, a bullet train travelling across a great plain. 3 seats on either side of the train, and you are sitting in the centre with someone on either side. It is here, and it is now, that you realise it is your time to make a choice. You need to choose one manufactured food today, which is the manufactured food that you would be most likely to tempt you away from the dietary choices you have made. Which food today is most likely? And as that comes to your mind, you look through the window on a large tree you see is full of manufactured food, and then another tree brimming to the top zips past, and then another and another. Right beside the window is a very large, prominent, very red button with stop emblazoned on its face, and it occurs to you that there is no one on the train that would even be slightly upset if you were to reach out and press it. Beside you on your left and right are the two people in your life who you hold in the highest esteem. The two people who you respect the most and have guided you through your life, and you know that they are here to lead you to where you wish to be, and not to stop you from doing anything you wish to do. As the trees flash past the window and the red lever glows bright, you begin to look around the train and notice the seats are full with people you know. Your three most respected and loved teachers are in the seats in front. Your three most loved and respected family members are across the way. And behind you are three actors that have guided your life. Authors, sports people, musicians, all known to you, all respected by you, fill the train. Family, authors, sports people, musicians, all known to you, all respected by you, fill this train. And the trees flash past the window faster and faster and faster, and the dial that says stop glows brighter, and you breathe in the power that is in that train carriage, and you sit up straight, push your shoulders back, and you smile as the strength of this place fills you with pure white breath. You smile. Then it appears that manipulative manufactured food is now floating in front of you, under your power and just out of your reach, and you feel the strength of those two sitting either side of you. It is under your control, and with your mind you lift it just a little bit higher and move it a touch to the left or to the right, and it is under your control. Now these words are for you, because you see, every time you have a craving for this manufactured food floating in front of you, there is a feeling in your body, a scent that you notice, a sound that you hear, and or a thought in your mind that lets you know it is time for that craving. Sometimes just a feeling or just a sound, sometimes just a thought or something you hear, sometimes several or all of them together, and they happen just before you know it's time to have that craving. Right now, feel that feeling, smell that scent, taste, hear, have that thought, and notice each and every one, and with each and every one know where, exactly where to find them in your body. Now with the sight of that manufactured food floating in front of you, see a golden light. Beams of light join to each of these places you have just discovered. Several beams of light joining you to the floating orb, and know that you have control. Feel those each side of you take hold of your hands, just just as you realize that you are in control and your mind lifts the floating manufactured food, and you notice how it glows and shines, and you realize that you are in control. You begin to turn that light down and the glow weakens. The golden light weakens and you feel those either side of you smile. And you take control. The vibrant colours that once were, you change to black and white. And now, floating in front of you in monotone, and the beams of light have lost their golden glow. The vivid shape you blur and pixelate, you lift and move further away, somewhat higher, and to the left or to the right. You take the three-dimensional pixelated shape in front of you and you flatten it out and surround it with an unattractive frame, and you move it just a little bit higher and a touch to the left or to the right. You make the pixels larger and different shades of grey, and then you blur those pixels and you take a deep breath and you feel the power that surrounds you in this train. Your shoulders back, your head held high. You look at this picture frame and then you search for what was a beam of light. And there, just about invisible, are the light grey threads. You cut the threads and look again at the picture in a frame. You make it smaller, the size of a matchbox, and then the size of a stamp, and you watch as it shrinks once more. Now you allow it to float out of the window and into a passing tree, a black dot the size of a flea, among 1,000 black dots in the last tree. As your mind moves back into the train, you notice the tiny light grey switch to the side of the window, with the smallest letters scratched on its face. This is where I leave you, as you sit amongst the most influential people you could ever know. Bask in their strength as you travel forward and allow that perfect amount of time to completely solidify the learnings you have created today. And when, and only when, this new you becomes